Mark Parham. It's a 1961 Chevy Apache. I've been to several shows, and it seems like I would stray away from the show cars over to the more patina-looking trucks, somewhat rat rod style, and just love the look. I love the uniqueness. How you're never going to go to a show and see a row of them, or if you do see a row of them, they're completely different. Every build's different. Every patinaed hood is different, and it just appealed to me. And I thought, well, I'd like to build one of these, but with more modern comforts. It's a 2002 LQ4 6-liter LS engine. We went back through and put a steel crank, Texas speed rods, Wisco pistons, headwork, larger valves. I'm still retaining the stock 317 heads, but they have been worked. An MP112 Magnuson supercharger, and I believe we're getting ready to change that over to a TVS 2300. We've been working with the guys from Magnuson who've been real good to us. It's running a 4L80 transmission. It's been gone through billet internals, Circle D torque converter, 12-bolt rear end. Steven at MDS Motorsports, he narrowed the rear end, set everything up for us. Well, obviously it was a 1961 truck, which was probably designed to run around on the farm and in the mud and in the dirt. When we got the truck, somebody actually had lifted it, and it had like a homemade lift kit. So the truck sat extremely high, and contrary to what a lot of people that work on these trucks has told me in the past, which was, you've got to get rid of that torsion bar setup. We actually kept the torsion bar setup and used it in conjunction with a coilover, and it's front and rear Viking double adjustable coilovers, and it seems to work well. We're really, really pleased with how it handles. It's got a NASCAR type splined sway bars, large sway bar in the front, and it handles really like a modern sports car. It rides really well. It's very comfortable to drive. One hand on the steering wheel, absorbs the bumps really well. It's quiet, so it has a very modern feel to it driving it down the road. When I first got the truck, just sitting there in my garage daydreaming, what am I going to do? What's the plan? I always from day one imagined it with a large Steely. And I see a lot of guys do patina trucks with a solid new looking Steely, and I want it to match the truck. So we went through some painstaking efforts to basically rust the brand new wheels, bring a little bit of color to match the body to them, clear coat them, protect them so that they don't rust any further. The wheels were a big vision, and then I've always been a fan of the Nito tires. And obviously we were going to run them on this. A lot of people said there's no way with that kind of power that truck is ever going to hook up. You're just going to sit there and spin, spin, spin. Well, I believe it's a combination of the work that Steven at MDS did, as well as the Nito DOT drag slicks on the back. And the truck hooks wonderful. Making 550 horsepower, from a dead stop, you mash on it on a warm day, and you're not going to spin more than 8 or 10 feet. It really hooks and goes. The truck is an AC truck, and it runs off the old factory controls. So if you got in the truck, you would never know it was air conditioned. I believe that on the outers, they're on the pillar post where the doors open, and I believe he actually had to cut the door jambs out and fabricate fittings for these vents, and then weld them back in. The center vents, same way. We had a spare door for one of these trucks. We actually cut the metal out of the spare door and formed a holster for the AC vent. The whole interior has been clear coated. It's all the factory metal, and it was patinaed from the sun. We just cleared it all. I'm 6'4", so the cab is a little small for a guy my size. So behind the rear window, there was actually a protrusion that came out 3 to 4 inches, and that's been basically shaved out completely to where we could move the seat back further. The seat is out of a 65 Pontiac convertible, and Sam down at Sam's trim shop, he actually he took it down to the bare frame, cut the frame in half, widened it, rebuilt the motors, changed the whole angle and pitch of the seat. So it is a power seat, up, down, front, back. There's really some unique stuff that's been done to it. We actually dyed the wood instead of using a colored poly. And so we went through the dyeing process and tried to raise the grain, and then went back with about 15 coats of marine type poly. Then cut and buffed it like a car finish. And it turned out extremely, extremely unique. And at that point, I've turned the wood over back to Stephen at MDS. He did a lot of custom fab work around the edges, made all the trim work fit. The truck is mini tubbed, so if you look inside the bed, you'll see patinaed fender wells, which those are brand new. And we patinaed, clear coated those, blended them right in. He welded them solid all the way through, made it look like it was supposed to be. Now you look at the bed, and people don't realize that it's mini tubbed. You know, they see those fender wells in there and they think it's factory. You know, obviously a truck that's been sitting in a farm or a cornfield for several years. We had some cab corner rot. We had the front of the bed, which would have been your very front where it meets the cab. The whole bottom was rotten. The rockers, bottom of the doors, the actual, when you open the doors, the underneath, a little bit of door skin issue with it. So they went to really painstaking efforts to cut body panels. You know, we went and bought all brand new body panels for this thing, but all we did was cut little pieces off of them. And they, you know, the guys are phenomenal fabricators, phenomenal welders, so they were able to really keep 80, 85, 90% of the true original patina, and just kind of weld things in, and there's not, you know, it's not full of Bondo, there's not a lot of body filler in it, it's a lot of really good metal work. You know, initially when I got it, I purchased it through my business, which is Site Work Erosion Seeding Supply Company. You know, it's a farm truck. I thought it would be wonderful advertisement for the business. It would be wonderful at trade shows, bring it into the actual trade show, put a little hay in the back. Great prop. But as far as hauling a load of block with it, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. Although we could get to the job site a lot quicker than our regular delivery trucks. But it's, the project turned out better than I had hoped, better than I had dreamed of. And you know, I just certainly don't want to beat anything like this up. Although it is patina, you know, it's a preserved patina.